Okay, so my verse is Mosiah 1:16, and I'm just gonna read it real quick. And moreover, he also gave him charge concerning the records which were engraven on the plates of brass, and also the plates of Nephi, and also the sword of Laban, and the ball or director which led our fathers through the wilderness, which was prepared by the hand of the Lord, that thereby they might be led everyone according to the heed and diligence which they did. So the first thing I'm supposed to do is look up every footnote and topical guide reference. So in this one, there's only three. The first one goes to plates of brass, and that takes me to Mosiah 1:3, which is in this chapter. And it says, and he also taught them concerning the records which were engraven upon the plates of brass, saying, My sons, I would that ye should remember that if it were not for these plates which contain these records and these commandments, we must have suffered in ignorance, even at this present time, not knowing the mysteries of God. So that's what that leads to. The second one, the sword of Laban. So that takes me to a couple verses. So Jacob 1:10. And this one is for B, the sword of Laban. And it was Jacob 1:10. The people having loved Nephi exceedingly, he having been a great protector for them, having wielded the sword of Laban in their defense, and having labored in all his days for their welfare. Okay, and then the third one is the ball or director, and that's kind of my focus of study, like the Liahona, and that leads to, or actually, the last one I did B also leads to other things, like, so I'm going to look those up actually right now. So, Words of Mormon, I'm just going to do it in here. Words of Mormon 1:13. And that says, And it came to pass also that the armies of the Lamanites came down out of the land of Nephi to battle against his people. But behold, King Benjamin gathered together his armies, and he did stand against them, and he did fight with the strength of his own arm, with the sword of Laban. So with that and the other one about the sword of Laban, I think it's showing the significance of, like, the fact, well, okay, the first one, I think it cross references to the other verse to show that, like, the plates were kind of a sacred thing, and they were, like, important to them, and they were passed down to people that were important to them, or, like, high up in, like, the church. And then right after that, how it talks about the sword of Laban, I think that's kind of symbolic of how they have the plates, and how that sword is what helped them get there. And so using that sword in this this battle, it kind of shows, like, it gave them those plates that they have, that they might know the records of their fathers and the importance of that. The third verse that the plates, or the sword of Laban leads to, is D&C 17:1, and that reads, Behold, I say unto you that ye must rely upon my word, which if ye do with a full purpose of heart, ye shall have the view of the plates, and also the breastplate and the sword of Laban, the Urim and Thummim, which were given to the brother of Jared upon the mount, when he talked with the Lord face to face, and the miraculous directors were given to Lehi while in the wilderness on the border of the Red Sea. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of saying it's not really talking directly about the object itself, but more like if you have faith, you'll be able to like see the importance of it and see like what it says, like to have you'll have a view of it, and so it probably doesn't mean physically. It probably means like you'll see why it was used and the importance of it. So yeah, back to Mosiah 1:16. The third cross-reference is the Baal or director, which refers to the Liahona, and that takes me to the verse 2 Nephi 5:12. Okay, and I, Nephi, had also brought the records which were engraven upon the plates of brass, and also the ball or compass, which was prepared for my fathers by the hand of the Lord, according to that which is written. So I think that that was important because it shows that it didn't just show up, and it wasn't just anything. Like, it was prepared by the Lord for them, and not just for them, but for everyone that it was passed down to. And I feel like it's more emphasized when Nephi had it, just because they used it on the boat and to get places, but it definitely came in handy like later on, and I think that's important. So yeah, that's all the cross references in that verse. Those are the only 3 in there. And then I'm supposed to choose. Pick 3 references from the top. And then I'm supposed to pick 3 references to look up. So I'm assuming that's just like terms that I think are important in the verse. So I'm going to look up. So when it says Baal or director when they refer to the Liahona, so I'm going to look up Baal, and then I'll look up director. And then the third one, I haven't decided yet, so I'll think about that. But, so for Baal, let's see. I'm supposed to be in the topical guide. Let me look this up. Yeah, the topical guide. So the topical guide doesn't have anything about the word Baal. So director is the next one. And let's see what comes up with that. Oh. Okay, wait, it's saying there's nothing coming up for that either. I know the verse doesn't say directly Liahona, but that's what it's referring to, so I'm just going to look that up in the topical guide. And so it's saying on here that none of these are coming up in the topical guide. Just okay. So maybe I'll look up like something else, like the plates of brass, because that was something that was passed down with the Liahona. So maybe this could be the same thing. Nothing in the topical guide. Okay. Plates of brass. So next I'm gonna try plates of Nephi and see what comes up for that. Nothing. Hmm. So if, I don't know if, references. So I think, one, let's see if it comes up. So I tried to look up lead because that's kind of what, it's one of the words in the verse, but that's not in the topical guide either. Let's see what else. Another good word is diligence because they needed that to be able to make the Liahona work. Let's see. So it's saying there's nothing in the topical guide about that. So I don't know if I'm supposed to like not do it. Make sure it's not in the bigger book. Find another word that I could use in the topical guide to define. Yeah, not any of these. None of these are coming up. One thing that did come up, I mean, in the verse it does say, like they call the Liahona the director. I did find in here direct or direction, and that links to, hold on one second. I'm looking through the verses to see which ones refer to the Liahona. So this takes me to 1 Nephi 16:30, which is kind of new because the other one didn't. And that says, And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did go forth up into the top of the mountains according to the directions which were given upon the ball. So yeah. I'm going to try to look up Liahona again, just to make sure it's not in here. Maybe it was just the computer that was acting up. Yeah, that's not in there either. Maybe the word diligence, because I had to have diligence in order for the ball to work. Yeah, that's in there. And I'm trying to find the one that relates to this. Yeah, I don't know if just the references that were made in the verse are okay, or if I'm supposed to keep looking, because I've pretty much looked at every word that I could to help relate to that subject. And then I think by I'm just gonna do the submit a video for the commentary on what insight I gained into my verse from Croft references. I think I gained knowledge that of the Liahona importance, and how it's not like it was only passed down individually, but it seemed to have been passed down with the other things, the plates of brass, the plates of Nephi, and the sword of Laban, and I think they all kind of connect, and they're symbolic of each other, and they kind of remind the people of Nephi and the sacrifice he made and everything he did to get their people there and to have them be there. So it kind of reminds them of their history and the importance and the connection of all those. And then what connections does the church want us to make regarding this verse? I think that kind of goes along with it. The church wants us to see that maybe by using those objects, it helps remind them of their past and how they are here, and maybe they kind of want us to use that as maybe I don't know, how we do family history and knowing where we came from and how we got here, and kind of they use that to remind them of their history and their past and their ancestors and how they got there. So yeah, that's it.